I am like, I don't even know. Before I started watching the movies, I took the test to see what house I would get sorted into. Got sorted into Hufflepuff. My wife made fun of me because she's like, oh, that's like the worst house. I looked up to see who was in Hufflepuff house, and I saw Robert Pattinson's, and I'm like, that's Batman. That's like the best house. What are you talking about? Anyways, first movie, no Hufflepuff. Second one, no Hufflepuff. Third one, no Hufflepuff. So I've been waiting to see when my house will get the representation that it rightfully deserves because that's my house. So it's like frustrating when the character that I knew was Hufflepuff is in the movie and dies. Where do I even begin? First of all, this was an insane movie. I saw it last night and I was like, all right, I'll record my thoughts. I'll do my review tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it right away. I want to sit on it, think about it still. So I've been thinking about it all day, all night, and it was a pretty good movie. Honestly, I'm into a lot of action movies and a lot of like bright lights. Ooh, bright lights. You shine a bright light somewhere and that's me. I'm like, ooh, that's a pretty cool light. I like that. And so this one had a very climactic ending. Ooh, I don't even know what's in store for like the next movie. Like, where do I even begin? The movie begins with Harry and Ron sleeping in the same house. They're at Ron's house. So my headcanon, at least they didn't say anything, is that Harry is staying with Ron, which like good for Harry because like he already left the last movie. Thank God there were no Dursleys this movie, and I hope he doesn't go back like at all because they're assholes. So if he stays with, why didn't he just stay with Ron since the beginning? Like damn. So that's cool. He got to stay with Ron for the summer. I mean, that's fine. They don't really. I doubt the Dursleys even care. Screw them. So then Hermione shows up. They wake up. Apparently, they're going to like the FIFA World Cup or like the Super Bowl equivalent of like Quidditch, the Quidditch Super Bowl or something. So that's pretty cool. That's actually where we meet Cedric Diggory, who's the Hufflepuff. Like, he's pretty cool. Robert Pattinson is pretty cool. I mean, I know people know him from like Twilight. That's where I first saw him from too. But now I know him as Batman. So now I'm seeing him here and it's like, damn, he's cool now. So that's awesome. Every time he showed up on screen, I was like, that's my house right there. That's my house representative. And so, I mean, that's why it sucks that he dies at the end. That's what hurts a lot. I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, it's because you already know about Harry Potter and stuff like that. So if not, I just spoiled you. Spoilers. But I've been posting like everywhere that I'm watching it for the first time. So yeah, you've been warned if you've been following my channel for the past couple of days, for the past week. I don't know. The past couple of uploads. They're at the World Cup. That's where Ron is like, ooh, that's Crumb. He's like a really cool guy. And then they go back to their tent where they were staying at, I guess like the hotel room. Kind of like, I don't know. They're there with Ron's family, and then the place gets bombarded with like the Death Eaters, they said, who were like servants of Lord of Voldemort, like his followers. So that's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, in the beginning of the movie we actually see like Voldemort's little crusty hand, and he uses Avada Kedavra. What's up? I don't want to get as blasted by Avada Kedavra. Okay. I was saying abracadabra and my wife was like, it's not abracadabra, it's Avada Kedavra. I was like, okay, well, sorry. Well, chill. That's all I want to get the wording right before I say anything. Anyways, you go to Hogwarts. Apparently there's like a tournament that goes on every couple of years between like 3 schools, and that makes me that opens up a floodgates, because it's like those guys were from Bulgaria, I think, and the girls were from France. My bad, Paris, whatever, France. And Hogwarts is supposed to be in Britain. So does that mean there's like a magic school in the US? Is there one in Mexico? Is there one in Japan? Is there one in China? Like that, or India, like that's really cool. That's insane. That just opens up the world a lot more. I thought Hogwarts was like the only school that was doing like magic and stuff like that. Like this was the school for like magic, for all wizards all over the world. So that's pretty cool that there's like different houses and stuff, or different schools for like magic and wizardry and all that. But then that also makes me question, do they have their own houses, or is it just like one house, or is there like, does it vary between houses? Like, could one of those schools have like 3 houses, Could one of those schools have like 6 houses? Like, what does that mean? How many could that have? Or is Hogwarts the only one that has, you know, those 4 houses and stuff that divides the school kind of into like fractions? Anyways, that's cool. Dumbledore explains the rules of the game and that they're gonna pick using the Goblet of Fire, like a raffle, I guess, a raffle box or something. So put your name right there, and then the goblet spits it out, and then if you're chosen, then you participate. So it picked one girl, I forgot, I think her name was Fleur, from the Girls School of Magic, and then there was Crumb from the Bulgarian School of Magic, and then there was Cedric Diggory. Everyone turns around, and then all of a sudden the goblet spits out another name, and it's Harry Potter. He's not gonna have like a normal school year ever, I guess. Poor guy. Like, as soon as like Dumbledore was like, Harry Potter, and Harry was like, oh shit, no, not this year. He sat down, dude. That was funny. He was like, no man, not again. Another year with more trials and death. That was pretty funny that he tried to hide. He was all mad, but everyone hated him for some reason. Like, as soon as they called his name, everyone's like, ugh, Harry Potter again. It's like, dude, like, it's not even like his fault. But I guess I can also see it from their point of view. It's like, you're going there, and every year since you've been there, this guy has been like prominent in like all like the big battles or like the big problems in the school and stuff like that. So I can definitely see some people being jealous or I guess just annoyed at that. But at the same time, it's like, it's not his fault. I mean, he was basically cursed to live like that. I mean, since he was a baby, so it's not his fault. And you think they would know by now. Stay away from Harry Potter, right? So when Harry's name is called, Ron does like a complete 180. Like, before this, or when Cedric was writing his name and tossing it into the Goblet of Fire, Ron was like, oh man, can't wait to try that in 3 years. And Harry's like, yeah, no, not me, you're on your own, dude. And so when Harry's name gets called, Ron is the one who's annoyed or pissed off with Harry for some reason. He's like, oh yeah, well, I'm just number two. I'm just Harry Potter's friend. Like, I'm nothing. When I was watching the movie, I was kind of annoyed at that, because I was like, dude, like, it's not his fault. You should know, and you're still like his best friend. So it's like, why are you getting angry? There's no reason for you to be getting angry, like, at all. Like, you should know like the stuff that's been going on since you guys have met, like since your first year, dude. Like, none of this is because Harry wants it. Like, all of this is just because Lord Voldemort is the one manipulating stuff behind the scenes, or like his followers are. So like, I was kind of iffy. It felt a little bit forced, and as fast as it came, it left pretty fast too. Like, that whole like Ron and Harry like being mad at each other showed up and then just left, because like, oh, don't talk to me, Harry Potter. And then the next time they show that, like, Harry's at the lake with Neville. Like, also Neville, MVP kind of this movie. Ron, Hermione, and Ginny are there, and Ron is like, oh, tell him I said this and this and this. And Hermione's like, oh, Ron said this and this and this, Harry. And Harry's like, well, you tell that guy that I said this and that. And then she's like, all right, guys, I'm not your telephone. Don't just make up and you know, get on with it. You guys are acting like little children, which rightfully so. And then the whole thing that Ron wanted to tell Harry was that, oh, Hagrid's looking for you. So he goes and meets Hagrid. Hagrid's like, oh, there's gonna be dragons, and then the dragons are gonna be the part of the first trial, and you have to collect the golden egg. Harry now knows that. He passes information on to Cedric Diggory, because it's like, oh, we gotta help each other. We're Hogwarts, you know, we gotta help each other. So Harry's turn into the first trial, and he does a pretty good job. He grabs his broom, leads the dragon away, comes back, collects the golden egg, and then, you know, he completed the first trial. Fantastic. Now CGI is getting better, by the way. The CGI is getting better. You can hardly tell how the movie has aged. So it's definitely way better than like the first movies already. Harry's in the room with the Gryffindor students, and he opens the egg, creates a loud like shrieking noise and stuff like that. Apparently he can't open it, like, because it's gonna keep doing that noise. This is where Harry and Ron make up, because Ron is like, oh yeah, did you get my tip about the dragons? And then he's like, oh yeah, but probably could have worded that better, because there was a little bit of confusion. It's not important, but I mean, after this, they're like, yeah, we're best buddies now. And it's like, so that happened real fast. It was at this point when I noticed that this movie felt a little bit rushed. I was going like pretty fast. It was breezing by a lot of stuff, actually. And then it included this dance, this anime school festival episode, because there's like a ball now where they have to ask girls to the dance and stuff like that. The whole time Harry was like googly-eyed to this other girl. I forgot her name. I don't think it was that important, to be honest. And By the time he asks her, she's already been asked by Cedric, and then she tells Harry no. So Harry goes and asks the pair of twins if they would like to go with him and Ron, and they say yes. And then towards like the end or like the middle of the dance is like they don't care about the girls. They're just sitting there like. And so another guy comes up and he's like, "Can I have this dance?" And she's like, "Oh, you can have my leg, my arm. Take me away from here." And so that was funny. I saw while I was collecting scenes for this video that there was a deleted scene, or there is a deleted scene, where Snape catches people like making out in the carriages or something. That's so funny. One of them is a Ravenclaw, which finally we get to see a Ravenclaw, because I don't think I've ever seen a Ravenclaw character in like in any of these movies that I've seen so far. I've only seen up to 4. I've seen no Ravenclaw characters like at all. I've saw there was like one Hufflepuff student in like the second movie that I mentioned before in that review for that movie, and then now there's Cedric, but I don't think there has been like a Ravenclaw student that I've seen in any of these movies. So at least we saw one student from Ravenclaw, and I can't tell if it was the girl or the guy, but hey, they're including more characters now, so that's good. Anyways, after the dance, Cedric tells Harry that, hey, go take your egg into the bathroom and, you know, open it up underwater. So Harry does that thing, and then I guess gets sexually harassed by Moaning Myrtle, who you'd think the basilisk is what killed her, right? And Harry killed the basilisk in that second movie. So is her soul forever trapped in Hogwarts? Does she not move on to the Great Beyond? Is there a Great Beyond in Harry Potter universe or something like that? Like, is she's just stuck as a ghost forever in the school and sexually assaults students, I guess, or something like that? She was like, Harry, them bubbles are disappearing. Harry was like, and so I would also feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'm being honest. That's not important though. But I thought it was interesting note to talk about. I had to point that out. Second trial starts. They apparently have kidnapped like that contestant's like special person or something like that. So, and placed them underwater, which is I guess like dangerous. How are they breathing underwater? I guess they're like paralyzed, petrified, or like I don't know. Harry's like, how am I gonna do this? The other contestants, 2 of them actually, Fleur and Cedric, end up creating like a face mask or something, like of air, so they can breathe underwater. Crumb turns into like a half boy, half shark, so that's really cool. Caught me off guard. And Harry turns into like a half fish man thing. I have no idea. But he's able to breathe underwater now. He has gills and he's able to swim. Not like a pro or like any fast or anything. He's still like a basic slow swimmer. But they got the job done. He ends up passing to the third round. Cedric came in first, but because Fleur ended up, getting disqualified, or I guess not completing the challenge, she gets 4th. And her special person was her little sister, who was stuck on the ground. So who was going to come for them? I don't think anyone was going to go rescue them, unless they were going to send someone to go after the people who weren't saved and stuff like that. So Crumb saved Hermione because that was her dance partner for the ball, which, by the way, like during that scene, I guess Hermione does kind of confess that she has at least some kind of feeling for Ron, because she was like, next time, don't ask me out as a last resort. Ask me because you want to ask me. And Ron's like, well, for that, I might as well not ask you anyways. And I don't know. It was that important? I guess if you're invested in their relationship. If you're not, then it's like, can we move on to the next scene? And then for Harry, his special person was to save Ron, so which he does. And then he's like, well, who's gonna save the little girl? So he saves Ron and Fleur's little sister, which bumps him up to first place as well. So him and Cedric are tied, which, let's go Hogwarts. Let's go Hufflepuff specifically, I guess. And then Harry sees a flashback from Dumbledore's point of view where Barty Crouch Jr. ends up getting, like, I guess, put in prison for helping Voldemort. That's just a little side note, so that way Harry can connect that he saw that guy in his dream at the beginning of the movie was the same guy that Dumbledore and all them arrested, during that flashback. And then when he's on his way back to the room, Snape is like, I know, Harry Potter, that Neville handed you my stuff and that you've been drinking all my polyjuice. And so I was like, who's drinking the polyjuice if it's not Harry? So that was in the back of my mind. I was like, that's weird. That's weird. Third task starts, and it's like a maze. So Harry and Cedric, because they were first, they end up going in first. And all they need to do is touch the cup or get it, whatever, and then they win. Now, easy. For some reason, Crumb becomes bewitched and ends up attacking Fleur, and then I guess I thought she died, by the way. I thought she died, but she doesn't die. She just gets taken, and then I guess she gets taken out of the maze. Cedric attacks Crumb, and then I guess Cedric kind of attacks Harry. It's kind of confusing what happens. I had no idea what happened there, but they end up defeating Crumb. Cedric gets like attacked by like the maze itself, the maze runner. And so Harry saves Cedric. They both run to the goblet or like the trophy, whatever it is. And so Cedric's like, oh, you saved me. Like, you deserve the win. Like, that's fine. And Harry's like, no. We both win. And so they both touch the cup at the same time and are transported to Voldemort's house, I guess. Because like he turns around and there's like the tombstone that has like Voldemort's like his father's name, his mother's name, and then his name. So which means that he faked his Tom Riddle persona or like death kinda and then became Lord Voldemort. Anyways, Peter Pettigrew comes out, or Wormtail as they were calling him, of the house holding baby Voldemort, which is just like the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my life. Made me want to throw up. And then he kills Cedric. It happened so fast that I was like, did that just happen? It caught me off guard, dude, and I was in shock for a while. I did not. Literally, Cedric's like, who goes there? And then they're like, Avada Kedavra, and then he dies, and I'm like, dude, did he just die? Like, that just killed him like nothing, dude. And I was expecting more of a battle or something like that. I did not think he would die. In fact, I was waiting for him to be like, psych, and then, you know, come back to life or something, get him with a jump scare. But no, they hit him with the Avada Kedavra, and then Avada Kedavra, sorry, and then he dies. So that was horrifying because finally my class gets representation, and then just they kill him. Which I guess Cedric's character, I wasn't sad per se. I was more like just in shock that they killed him. Cedric, when he first showed up, was like this cool wizard. So I was like, okay, well obviously he's older than Harry because he's hella taller than him. And so yes, it's confirmed that he's 17 or yeah, he's like 17 or 18, I believe. And Harry's like 14, so he's a couple of years ahead. So obviously it'd makes sense that he's been there a couple more years than Harry. He would be more of a pro at more stuff than Harry. So that's pretty cool that we meet him. He's already wanting to take part in the trial for, you know, the competition between these three schools, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Like, that just makes him badass. He's a great character. I mean, the only part that I felt annoyed with him was because I had seen a video where they were like, oh, Hufflepuffs are kind, Hufflepuffs are humble, you know, they'll loyalty and stuff like that. And so when they made the pin that says support Cedric, Potter stinks or something like that, I was like, all right, bro, he doesn't really seem to care about them making fun of like his fellow classmate. That might just be because I was feeling sorry for Harry, but that everyone like instantly turned on him and hated him. But that was like the only moment in the movie when I was like, bro, this is supposed to be a Hufflepuff. I thought the Hufflepuff class as well, dude, they turned on Harry like if he was like Satan himself because they hated him. They were like, oh, this guy again. Which I get it. If like every year you were going to the same school as that guy and he was like the center of attention, like I get it. But at the same time, it's like, know your place. So that was the only moment when I felt a little bit annoyed with Cedric. Other than that, Harry helped him right then and there, and then Cedric was like, I gotta repay the favor, and he does by telling Harry a hint about where to use the golden egg. And so even at the end, before they get transported to Voldemort's cozy abode, he tells Harry, go, dude, like, you saved me, like, you deserve the win. Like, he was ready to take second place. He didn't care, and you know, that's very commendable. That's what makes it a little bit more of a shame that he literally dies in front of Harry, pretty much like in a flash, which again caught me off guard. And at this point, Wormtail or Pettigrew is, you know, basically tossed in Voldemort or baby Voldemort, ugly ass baby Voldemort, in the cauldron, and you know, used Harry's blood and some other ingredients and to make a nice healthy dish of Lord Voldemort. He is hideous, by the way. He is hideous. I had this like vague because I remember seeing him when I was younger. I just remember him not having a nose, and so I didn't think he looked that hideous. He is ugly, which I mean, he's not gonna pop out being like this handsome, you know, perfect jawline, six pack, and all that, right? But I wasn't expecting him to look like that. He looked weird. How do I explain it? He looked greasy. He looked greasy, like rubbery, plasticky, I guess, kind of. He just looked ugly. He just looked ugly. And so he summons like his followers and stuff like that, and he reveals one of them to be, yes, Lucius Malfoy, who is one of the helpers of Lord Voldemort. So that's gonna be interesting in the future when that comes into play. Like, how is that going to work? Is Draco going to turn as well, because that's his dad? Is he gonna turn as well? Is Harry gonna have to kill Draco? I don't know. That's gonna be interesting how that turns out in the next couple of movies. I got a couple more left. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Voldemort gives Harry a chance to fight, kinda. They both do like a beam clash with their spells and stuff like that, and then it creates like this dome around. And then I remembered, because some spirits started, like blue stuff started coming out, and I was like, wait a minute, how is, like, his parents came out, and so did Cedric, and they were like, Harry, and then they literally did, it was like the father-son Kamehameha, because his parents were like there, like, Harry, hold on, like, let go or something, at the count of 3 run. You know, that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. It felt like the father-son Kamehameha versus Cell, right? When Goku's dead and he comes back and he's like, push Gohan, do it now. And that's what it felt like. So that was awesome. And I was like, how did that even happen? But then I remember in the first movie, the guy at the wand shop was like, yeah, this has like the same, like, what did he say it was? It was like a phoenix feather that of the same person that gave you that scar has the other half of the phoenix feather that's in your wand. And so I was like, maybe that's how that happened. But Cedric coming back as a ghost, not on my mind like at all. I was not expecting that. But he tells Harry, can you do me a favor and, you know, take my corpse back to my dad so he can see me dead? You know, bury me and stuff like that. And his parents are like, Harry, we'll cover you 5 seconds. And so, you know, they do end up giving Harry buying him enough time to, you know, get out of there. Thank God. Voldemort's like, no. And then, which again, he was playing too much with his food. Oh, there was a disgusting scene where he put his crusty ass toenails, or his crusty ass foot on Cedric's face, which must have been disgusting for Robert Pattinson. Can you imagine that guy stepping on you? Disgusting. So he gets back to everyone with Cedric's dead body, and everyone's like, hey, let's go. And then they're like, oh, he's dead. No, he's dead. And so that was heartbreaking for the dad, actually. That was horrible, because last time he saw his son was going to take the maze. Next time he sees him, he's literally just a body on the ground. And so Mad Eye Moody takes Harry to like his room and stuff like that. He's like, so Harry, is it true? Is Voldemort back? And I was like, what the heck? Why would he ask that? Why would he ask that at this time? And then he was like, is Voldemort back? And I was like, I don't know, something's wrong with this guy. And then he started like wanting his drink, and then he opened up a packet with a whole bunch of them, and I was like, he's drinking the polyjuice. And I was like, but who is he? Because this whole time Barty Crouch was only mentioned, or was only shown in the beginning of the movie and in the flashback, and it didn't even cross my mind or click in my mind that this is an imposter. And it is, because everyone barges in, the guy transforms into Barty Crouch, they opened up the case that was in there, the safe or whatever, the box, and the real one, Mad Eye Moody, is in that box. Like, that's horrible. Like, that guy was imprisoned. Oh my goodness. Plot twist. Which it's crazy. I did not catch on that he was drinking polyjuice. I mean, even Harry was like, oh, he's not drinking orange juice, which made me believe that he was like an alcoholic or something like that. So that's why I didn't question it. And then he had that box in like his room that he was like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you what was in there. And so that made me like, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It'll probably be explained in like the next movie or something. But no, we actually find out what it is. I mean, Voldemort's back. That's how the movie ends. By literally like, Voldemort's back. Like, what's the next movie going to be? Like, is this all out war now? Like, are they coming for him? Like, what's going to happen? I'm at this point, I'm like, I think I'm at the climax of the Harry Potter series. I'm not sure. I might be wrong about that. Maybe next episode. Maybe like if it was Star Wars episode, right? Harry Potter episode 5. Maybe the next movie will be the actual climax, and this is still just the rising climax. So it's like every movie keeps getting more crazy. I was not expecting Voldemort to come back in this movie. Like, I knew he was going to show up, actually, because I remember seeing a clip like years ago, when he was like his body, right? But I thought that was still like going to be like episode the movie 6 or movie 7. So I was not expecting him to come back movie 4, like actually physically back movie 4. I thought he was going to show up like movie 6 or 7 or something, but he's actually back now. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna be gunning for Harry Potter like full blast or whatever. So that's gonna be insane. Literally, the movie literally ends when they're like, well, let's write each other for the summer. Meanwhile, Voldemort's already like plotting his kill plan to kill Harry Potter plan, and that's gonna be insane movie. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, I'll talk about it next video. But man, these movies keep on getting better and better and better. I have no idea why I put this series off for like my whole life up until now. I've gone 26 years. Yes, I'm 26. I'm unk without watching Harry Potter, and I regret it because this is a fantastic, suspenseful, action-packed, and it's getting more action-packed series. Insane. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Later.